The biggest surprise was the return of the doubt. It came back right when I thought I was past it. I had done the work. I knew what the old identity looked like. I could see it running. And one morning I woke up, and a familiar unease was sitting in the corner, quiet and patient, waiting for me to forget. I remember thinking about the change and wondering if I had actually changed, why did it still feel like this? Today, we look at that exact question. I know you're sitting with a version of it right now. You crossed something real. You know you have. The ground, it still feels uneven. Gary named the outside of this in our conversation a version of the story with enough distance to be told. To be told and to be shaped. This episode, it's inside that. What it actually feels like to live in the new identity. Living there before it actually feels natural and before the ground stops moving. It's what nobody describes. By the time most people talk about it, the memory has already been smoothed over. The old identity had a contract. Terms were entirely clear. Certainty was first. Then movement was allowed. You waited until you were absolutely sure. When the room felt completely safe. That contract, it made sense for a long time. It protected you from costly mistakes. Your new identity operates on a different contract. It's still forming, tender, doesn't come with credentials. It arrives feeling like a choice you make before the ground confirms you. I had an uncomfortable period about 2 years into this work. The clarity, it was real. Shift had happened. I saw it in my daily decisions and in what I refused to compromise. The evidence, clearly there. But I still woke up some mornings feeling unsure. Unsure of myself, of my foundation, and a quiet voice asking, "Who do you think you are?" It sounds so much like your own voice, you stop questioning who's actually speaking. I sat with that feeling, and I asked a question I'd never considered. What if the doubt is just the old identity, filing its familiar objections, doing the exact job it was built to do? Notice if something in you relaxed at that thought. It's a massive revelation. Doubt is evidence of the transition. The old identity is doing due diligence, checking a version of you that it hasn't verified yet. Groundedness is the discovery that doubt no longer gets to decide. This is what it looks like on the other side. You're in a conversation, someone pushes back on your words. The familiar contraction happens, the quick internal reach for reassurance and a need for something solid to stand on. You feel it happening in real time. Then you make a different choice. You keep talking without resolving the fear. The doubt stays present in the room. You simply stop asking it for permission and make a decision from your current values, knowing you will be second-guessing it by Thursday. You make the decision anyway. You navigate a week with zero external validation. You don't go into a spiral. You just keep moving forward. You no longer need the path to feel perfectly solid. The ground, it may never feel like bedrocked, at least in the way the old identity wanted it. But you're standing on it. Standing on uncertain ground is the work. It's the new identity doing exactly what it was built to do. Take a single question with you today. What decision are you waiting to make? If what surfaced today has weight, it's worth following. Trace what you heard back to what it has been costing you. That's the exact space the no-cost identity clarity call is built for. We look at what you've been calling uncertainty and see what's actually operating underneath. The link, you'll find it in the show notes. Tomorrow is the final episode of the season. We explore what you already know and look at why that's been insufficient to let you fully arrive. This is the new ground. You fought to reach it. Now learn what it means to stand here. With strength and heart, I'm Sean Michael. Stay close. We spend a lot of time on this show talking about the threshold, the space between the identity that got you here and the one required for the new ground. You're listening to this because something in your current architecture is fracturing. You're running the performer playbook or the striver protocol, and it's costing you an immense amount of energy to maintain the facade. The external results are there, but the internal friction, it's burning you out. Most people will let this episode end and go right back into the performance. They'll put the mask back on for their next Zoom meeting and keep relying on the identity that's actively caging them. I'm looking for the leader who's done performing. If you're ready to look at the structural identity collapse happening beneath the surface, we need to map your architecture. Go to the link in the show notes, book your identity clarity call. We'll identify the exact survival identity running your calendar and begin the shift into conscious leadership. Stop performing, start becoming.